Welcome to the back end of Quantum Leap 2021. We're counting down the hours here. We've still got a couple to go. And it's my pleasure right now to introduce David Brock, affectionately known as Brock, who's going to give us his wisdom and journey on your partnerships and networking in general and some tips and hints. So David Brock, take it away.
Thank you, John. Yeah, everybody knows I just go by Brock. It's easier because I only have to remember one name. And I always say you can call me anything, but just don't call me late to dinner. That's the only thing I request. So this morning, welcome to Early Birds, and or depending on where you are in the world, if you stayed up for a while, and we may have a few join with us with it as well as we go because we've got quite a few more registered. But I think some probably just hit the snooze clock and said, "No, I can't do it." But at least they can catch on the recording. And first of all, thank you for BBX, John Attridge, and the Quantum Leap and what all you've done for us. Also, those that don't know, that in the background, our team down in South Africa that has been working on the stands and getting everything together. And actually, this is a testimony to networking itself to begin with, how this has even come together, I should say. Come apart, maybe that was the wrong word to use. Come together. But the thing is, it all came through networking. And, there's somebody not on this call right now called Mark Jared that started some of that journey as well. So it's using one of Mark's words he uses all the time. It's connecting the dots. And that's exactly what network is in principle, is looking to see where all the connections are and making those connections happen. Right. So what I thought I'd do this morning quickly is I'm just going to give a little quick history of how I ended up in the networking arena. And then I'm going to call on a few people on this call to give a little brief testimony of what networking has done for them. So Your Partnerships itself was born by being a small face-to-face networking group in Cornwall called Cornish Partnerships to begin with. And even before then, I had a group of, I just wanted to do something to help out in my general area. And I had a group of local business people that I was asking, what can I do to help? And they actually recommended a networking platform. Honestly, I didn't know what in the world they were talking about. I had been myself to about 3 or 4, maybe 5 networking events my entire life. So I just started studying a bit about what networking was and what it wasn't. Started asking about what people like and what they don't. Talk to people who've gone to different networking groups. And that's how we started off. And then without boring with the entire long story, what was started as Cornish Partnerships, and then a nice guy over in Devon started Devon Partnerships. The network has grown the network just by more people talking to more people, which, you know what, funny enough, that's what networking is, isn't it? So it shouldn't be rocket science that a network grew a network. It's a weird way to say it, but that's exactly what it is. And so what Your Partnerships does, and I don't want this to be an ad about Your Partnerships, I just want to get this part of the way and just talk about the whole beauty of networking itself. So what Your Partnerships is, it's a UK-based networking platform, which also now is doing networking globally. And we have events all the time. So we have up to 180 events a month right now. That will soon grow up to about 350 events within 4, 5, 6 months. Warren is just connecting on the call now. He's one of our team members down in Cornwall as well. So he's kind of taken the steer there, and he does great work for us. What I'm going to do is, before I get into some other examples of networking itself, could I go ahead and pick on Dawn first? Dawn, can you give us a little testimony about what networking has either done for you, business, personal, or whatever you might like to say?
Well, thank you very much, Brock. So I think networking has been amazing for myself personally. I'm based in South Africa, and having the opportunity to meet people globally has been phenomenal. So, based in South Africa, I'm part of the chamber here in South Africa, and we were fortunate enough to, as you say, meet through networking. Mark Jared introduced us to Your Partnerships, and then we've met John Attridge at BBX, and it's just snowballed. So for us, it's been amazing. So, and also to be part of this Quantum Leap 24-hour event has been incredible. And this would never have happened had we not had the networking. So for me personally, the networking basis is to be consistent. If you're consistent, you start building relationships. and therefore people get to know you, and they begin to know who you are and what you're about. And they also know other people, and they could then refer other people to you in your immediate area. They may be on the other side of the world, but they may know someone based in your demographics that could then assist you in what you're actually looking for. So it's not about getting an instant connection and getting an instant project. It's about getting to grow with other people, and then you also become confident and you begin to trust the person, and it's about building relationships at the end of the day. So for me, the networking has been amazing. To have met all these people over the world has been phenomenal. Thanks, Brock.
Thank you, Dawn. It's been a pleasure. And just so people know, the Four Ways community down in South Africa, they do amazing work as well. And they have a product called Wisdom, which I'm sure we'll leave Edward to talk a little bit about because he's been there many a times. And they're connected to 24,000 people just in their network alone. So all these things, which actually leads me to something nice. I'd like to say, we always in your partnerships always say, make sure you connect with every network that you can. A good networker will always connect with 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever networks it is, because because networking is all about building relationships, and the more networks that you go to, the more relationships you get. Now, don't hear me wrong. You can't spend your entire existence networking, so that because your business would suffer. But do it in a very, I'd say I want to use the word aggressive because it is aggressive. But let me explain it in just a second. But also do it in a way that's going to build your business best. We have one good networker, Claire Trice. I know she won't mind me saying it. She has a plan that she uses every week. She goes networking on a Thursday. She'll pick 2, 3, 4, 5, depending on what her schedule is for that day, different networks that she'll go to. Obviously, she has a core group, which I'm quite happy is us, but she'll go to FSB, she'll go to different ones. And then what she does with those, and which I'd like to talk about on this call, is she makes sure when she's on those calls, she sets up those one-to-ones afterwards. So on a platform like Zoom, use that private chat box in the corner there. Just hit the private chat, which you can do by either toggling the little blue bar underneath, or on the picture itself, there's 3 little dots that come up, and you can hit the chat there, and that'll toggle you down to the private chat as well. Put in the private chat to everyone, your LinkedIn connection, invite them to a one-to-one, make those things happen after the call. That's what's so important. So that's what Claire does, is she sets up the one-to-ones. She goes on the Thursday and sets up her one-to-ones for the Tuesday of the following week. So that's just a little hint of how she does it. Another great tool as far as networking goes, diarize it. And actually Warren on this call, he uses this tool all the time. A lot of people, what they'll do is they'll go, oh, let me see where I have an extra time and I'll network where I can. Actually, if you diarize your networking events as a business appointment, do that, and that will help you migrate around. Obviously, you can, if something dire comes up, you don't want to lose business or work because you're networking. Don't hear me wrong. You can always change those, but if you diarize it, then it keeps it in your priority list as well, because networking is all about building your business as well. I said about the word aggressive. Now, what I didn't want people to think about that, aggressive networking is not being a transmitter. What we commonly get in the room, and all of us that have networked for quite some time, see them come and see them go. People that go into a networking room, whether it be face-to-face or online, who transmit their message. I'll give you the good example here. My name's Paul. I sell paint. Buy my paint. Here's my card. He walks away. That's not networking. That's called freaking annoying, is what that's called. Simple as that. That's not building a relationship. Networking is building a relationship. I could name names and call people out on this call, but you all know it. People that come and show up every time, and make those relationships and give back value. You must always give first to receive. And the other thing is you network through the room, not to the room. And that's what Paul selling paint would be doing. He's networking to the room. That's no good whatsoever. Using this call right here, I mean, we should have a lot more. It doesn't really matter about numbers, to be honest with you, but there's 13 people on this call right now. So it's commonly said that all of us have close connections of at least 100 people. So there's 1,300 people on this call. That's what you have to remember. And with networkers like we have right now, you could probably quadruple that number without a doubt. But so remember, every time you're meeting someone and talking to someone, it's who they know and who they're going to introduce you to. And what also happens is the more they get to know you, the more they get to know your products, your services, your personality, which is a big part of your product, then they become your invisible sales force. because they're out there every day running into people that are going to need you, and they're going to immediately think, as long as you've built that trusted relationship, oh, I know exactly who can do that for you. I know exactly who I'm going to refer you to. And that's exactly how it works. Simple as that. Right. Now I'm going to shut up again for a second. I'm going to go over to John Giacomino. Can you give us a little story about what networking may have done for you, sir?
Yeah, thanks, Brock. It's good to be put on the spot at 7:25 in the morning. Get me going. Networking for me. So I moved to the Southwest about 4 years ago. Met Brock when he was doing Cornish partnerships, and I just started work at BBX. I had no connections in the Southwest at all. Didn't know anyone, didn't know any business people. I'd come from America, and through the power of networking through Cornish partnerships and other networking groups, I've managed to build a very, very strong network of like-minded business owners throughout the Southwest, which has allowed me to first off to buy the franchise for BBX and to grow the BBX business in the Southwest, which we've done very successfully. And then latterly, I liked it so much, I can't remember the guy now, but I liked it so much I bought the company. So I now look after Exeter and East Devon as well for your partnerships. And for me, I could not be where I am today in the Southwest without networking helping me to develop those communications and those contacts. Even if they're not customers of mine, I still get recommendations from people, which is absolutely fantastic. Couldn't say more, to be honest.
Thank you so much,
Brock. That's as much as you're going to get, mate.
Thank you so much, John. But that's a good example. It shows exactly how it works and everything. Welcome to the call as well, Sam. Glad you could join us today. And this is being recorded, so don't worry, if you want to watch back, you can. It's all available on the Quantum Leap platform. So we've been talking about networking itself and what all it does for us. And the other thing that I like to mention all the time, and a few of us were talking before we went live on this call, is networking also brings you the tools in your life. Now, I'll give a personal example of that. I had a family situation where I was actually in a whole different country, and we had, without giving you all the details, we had the case of the dogs and the kennels. The kids have got to get back for school. I was going to have to stay in a different country and get the kids flown back and all these things. Because of a network, literally within less than an hour, had people lined up to meet the children at the airport, someone to pick up the dog. Just goes on and on and on. But it's also what it does for you in your personal life. And the other thing, that very, without a doubt about it, if my boiler goes down right now, if I have any problems, whatever it might be around the house, the car, anything, I don't pick up Yellow Pages. Well, I don't even know if they still make those things. I don't Google and find out, whom can help me, because I have trusted individuals that I know through being told about through networking that I know will help me. So what I'm doing, Sam, and anybody else new on the call, we're just going around and getting a few people to give testimonies that I know have been great networkers to talk about what it's done for you. And Rebecca, I'm going to pick on you next. So what has networking done for Rebecca?
Oh, thank you, Brock, for asking. Actually given me a business. My entire business has been built on networking. I started my public speaking coaching in lockdown in April, with no clients, no anything. And I wouldn't be able to have a business at all if it wasn't for networking. And it's not just about the business. I think the thing that's blown me away even most of all has been people's generosity. And I don't mean people giving you stuff. I mean people being generous with their time and their expertise and their knowledge. And the fact that as a newbie business owner, there are people I can go to and I can say, look, this might be a stupid question, but there is no such thing as a stupid question. People are so kind and generous with their expertise, and that's what I've really gained, I would say, is almost more valuable. Can anything be more valuable than actually having income from your business? Yes, I think it can, and that's the support and knowledge that you get from all those wonderful people that you meet at networking. And I've been networking in earnest, I think, probably the beginning of May. I kind of realised that this was the way forward, and the chance to meet people, as Dawn said, globally, and to be on calls like this, and all this incredible expertise and knowledge that, as you said, Brock, people give. This is what I love about it. It's not about necessarily what you can get. It's about the whole process of getting to know people and sharing your knowledge and your enthusiasm and your passion with everybody that you come across. So that's quite a long-winded way of saying that I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for networking. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Rebecca. And back to you, I'll say a big thank you. Rebecca is one of our people who's very good at actually giving recommendations forward. So she finds people that that might want, because in your partnerships, we always give a 30-day free pass to make sure it's right for you before you join. And she's constantly always giving these actual recommendations forward, and we're quite happy to give those out. And what I found is one of our networkers a couple weeks ago, I found out it was just on the bottom of his email promo. It basically said, "Let me give your business a Christmas gift," and it had the link of a 30-day pass for your partnerships, which was great, and that's quite happy. You know, we're happy to do that. But the other thing we do with that, Rebecca knows this, is if you refer anyone to the partnership, we make sure they know that it came from you. So as I like to say, we make sure they know who the heroes are. And the great thing about that is then as soon as they get connections, as soon as they those sales starts coming through, or whatever it is they get from networking, they remember who sent them to us as well, and so they remember to pay it back. Now, turning over to I've got two amazing worldwide networkers coming up right now. So Dinah, I'm going to pick on you first, and then Mike Armstrong. So Dinah, tell us a little bit about networking and you.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Well, I've just started networking in January, so it has been amazing for me. I have a million words. I used to be a radio host, so I can talk, and I love to meet people, and I love to help people and to connect the dots. And my brain is always working. So if someone says, I have a problem, it's like, okay, one part starts to work. And then when they say, I look for this and this, I was like, okay, that's the networking part that starts working. And it's like a whole system. Say, okay, I know this person, and I know that person might know that person. It's just brilliant. It's just amazing. And it makes me happy to help other people. So and that's why it has done a lot for me, because it elevated my happiness, and I could help other people. And I think it's brilliant, and especially that we can all go virtual now. I never had the time to go to places, especially here in Germany. You don't drive that long. Like in the US, 45 minutes is nothing, because you can find a car park. Over here, 45 minutes, it's the drive, and 45 minutes looking for a car park. and that holds a lot of people back. But now you get to know people that you might have never met before. And I think that's just amazing. It's an amazing opportunity. Once we can all travel again, you can actually go and see these people in person, and I think it's just super exciting, and I love the energy, and I love the way your partnership networks as well, because it's not I don't feel I'm on one of those, farmers markets where you have the fish experts say like, okay, I'm going to give you this and this, and trying to sell, if that makes sense. It's really more about contributing.
Well, thank you so much. And you do give back so much all the time. I'm seeing her connecting the dots for many, many people. So thank you for all that you do. I really appreciate that. And real quick, before I go over to Mike, this whole thing of seeing people, we've had a few different incidents in the UK where we've had these glimpses of where we're able to do face-to-face for a minute. And it's amazing to watch people that have met on screen for months and then meet for the first time face-to-face. It's really quite amusing. Some are quite taller, some are quite thinner, some are quite larger, some are quite lots of things that we don't. I mean, like this screen right here, you don't see my massive bald spot in the back, but that's okay. It is what it is. John's laughing because he knows if I turn around, I blind you all. Right, over to international speaker, superstar, networker, Mr. Mike Armstrong. Networking and you, sir. You're on mute there, Mike. Most said word in the entire world. You're on mute. Go for it, Mike.
I'm on mute, yes. Professional networker extraordinaire, but I haven't turned my mute button off. But there we are. I've been networking for a long time. I'd probably say since I was 11 years old, so about 32 years. but I've been professionally networking, attending networking events for about probably like 8-9 years. I've been going to 3-4 events a week, before the lockdown. And then since lockdown, I probably upped that to between 6 and 10 events a week, because you can do a lot more events virtually without the travel and the getting ready and all that sort of thing. And I'm a solutions provider similar to Diane. I've got a lot of solutions in my box of tricks to do with sales and marketing and business growth and mindset and all that sort of thing. And actually, when I meet new people at networking events, they become part of the solution. They're part of the box of tricks, because if I can't help people, then I know someone else who can. And ultimately, I use networking as a way of building up my lead referral partnerships, my collaborations, my friendships, the people I learn from. You get so much from networking. And it's a bit like having a load of pieces on a chessboard. If you understand what all the pieces are and what all their moves are, you're able to actually put them together in some sort of plan and strategy, and actually get some sort of good results out of all of your contacts. So, for me, it's about getting to know people, getting to understand them, seeing how I can help them, seeing who else I know who can help them, see who they may be able to help as well, and just putting all those pieces together really into one interesting puzzle. So I love to get people on my podcast and on my YouTube channel, and then I get to find out a lot about them. And then that's the start of the journey of building the relationships, and who knows where those relationships lead, but it's often very interesting places.
Thank you so much, Mike. And you said another one that I've heard several times, the puzzle. It is finding the pieces that fit together and making that puzzle work for all of us. And that's a good metaphor for exactly what networking is, to be fair. So appreciate all the work you do, and Mike's helping us with the guys in Wales to get that off the ground. Been going for 2 or 3 weeks now, and he is connected to so many. So if you're on this call and you've not, or if you've seen this recording, make sure you connect with him along with these other great leaders as well. Speaking of a great person that gives a lot back, and I wanted to not pick on him too early because I know he had his Christmas party yesterday. I'm not sure how much Brewdog went down. So Edward knows I'm picking on him next. Edward, you and networking, and actually, Edward, your entire life is networking in a way, because tell them a little bit more about that.
Well, yeah, but I'll concentrate on Brock and networking. I'm a member of the Federation of Small Businesses. I organise networking events in Cornwall, and then this American upstart came along and started putting on really good networking events. And my colleagues saw him as a threat. And I thought, well, no, he's an opportunity, because putting on networking events in Cornwall is difficult. You've got to move around the county, you've got to find places. And Brock is so well connected with hotels and venues. I said, you know what? Let's stop doing our networking events and send all our members to Brock's events. And that's exactly what happened when we had the physical ones. And then when the COVID thing came along, we started doing online ones, and we do one a week. And that's a success because most of the people on it come from Brock. We had our Christmas party yesterday, and some of you know a guy called John Martin, the magician. Met him through Brock. All sorts of people I've met that way. And I think it is about putting the effort in, turning up, listening to what people say, because Brock's mentioned, you get the people that turn up, I'm Bob, I sell paint, and then they turn off and they fiddle with their phone for the rest of the meeting, and they don't listen. And then you meet wonderful people. Very early on, I met John Iacomino. He phoned me up a little while after, or contacted some way, because he'd lost his running mojo. I'm a massive runner. I run lots. John and I talked, and I think John discovered his running mojo again. And when on Facebook I see him posting pictures of his run, I feel really good about that. So John very often cheers my day up because of that. And then you meet wonderful people. I love South Africa. I've missed going to South Africa this year. What happens? Brock puts on Your Partnerships Global South Africa. I am there like a shot. And I love those South African accents. They just like, and then I discovered that they're putting on these wisdom's chats, wisdom's 1, 2, 3 chats every morning. So I pop over there every morning and enjoy those chats. And it's like food for my brain. And I think that's what networking is. You meet loads of different people. It triggers things off. It triggers connections. Some of it is just to do with your soul, to do with your mind, to do with your well-being. Some of it's to do with business. Occasionally, someone will say to me, "Oh, Edward, well, like someone did the other day, I'm writing this book about the menopause, and I'm a writer as well as a runner." They said, "Would you write a chapter from the male perspective?" Like, when's someone going to ask me to do that normally? And then a bit later on, someone said, "Oh, Edward, I'm writing this travel book. Would you review it for me before it's published?" And great. So I did that, got a free copy of the book, signed Dan Watson. I've written my book about running. They're reviewing it now. It's all about that give and take and whatever. And I think it's about commitment to show up. If it's important, you'll find a way. So put it in your diary. It's important. You should do it. If you don't think it's important, you'll find an excuse and not turn up. Or you'll find your phone much more interesting than listen to someone amazing like Rebecca. When would you ever meet an opera singer? Yeah. Or when would you meet someone from Germany or someone from South Africa or Singapore or France or wherever it is? So, you know, don't play with your phone on here. Listen to what people have to say and you pick up. And just one last little bit about networking. I got £2,000 worth of business from someone I didn't know because someone I did know recommended me about 6 months after I'd met them at a networking event. So you never know what's going to happen.
Thank you so much, Edward. And that goes right back to what I was talking about, that invisible sales force that's always out there for you. You don't even realize they're active and moving around, but they're, you know, because you took the time to build that relationship and they knew about you and knew exactly to go to you, then, you know, that's absolutely how it works. So thank you.
Oh, I forgot to mention, Wisdom's chats are coming to the UK on Tuesday.
Yep.
Links in the chat.
Thank you so much, Edward, and thank you for all that you do and continue to do. Speaking of networking, carrying on the theme, I met this next gentleman that I'm going to ask to talk, and he doesn't even know I'm going to ask yet, through networking. And what I mean by that is I was actually attending another networking group face-to-face, and he was actually leading that group at the time. And that's where I actually met Warren. And it's a, you know, just that one networking experience has changed so much of my life, and I know his as well. And I'd like to think for the better. But Warren is you know, networking to the T. Warren spends his entire day helping people with not just his own job, but through networking itself. So Warren, tell us a little bit about networking and what it's done for you. You there, mate? Or are you
for putting me on the spot? No, I've done a lot of networking in my life, whether it be BNI, 4N, and we tried BNI in Cornwall, didn't work. It took us 3 years to get a group off the ground, and Cornwall's a different place, as a lot of you can testify on here. So I bumped into Brock, yes, at a different networking group. I changed roles. I worked in a hi-fi store and couldn't go to that networking group because someone was doing what I do now. So I met Brock and I joined his, and that's been the best thing that's ever happened to me. I love helping people, whatever way it is, whether it's networking or my previous jobs at Apple and hi-fi stores. It's always providing the best solution for them, not for me and not for the company. It's for them, and I find that that's what's with networking. Brock is so right. If you give, you will receive. We see so many people that come on and try and sell and not make those connections. And if you help people, they will remember it. They will remember it. And it's, you know, it's that triggers. They go, all right, okay, oh, well, yeah, I know someone that can help you. And networking has been brilliant. So Brock asked me, and I say this story, and I tell a lot of people this, a year ago, or just over a year ago, actually, my first anniversary of being part of your partnerships, Cornwall. Brock asked me to help because it was expanding, and so he said, "Oh, you know, my time's going to be taken up. Warren, can you help me with the networking in Cornwall and do it?" And I said, "Well, hang on. So you're asking me to do what I already do, and you're going to pay me?" And he said, "Yeah." And I went, "All right then." and I've loved it ever since. And it's all about helping everyone else. So the other groups, the global doesn't really affect me in my personal job, but I go to the meetings to support those people in those groups, as I do with, or I've been to every area meeting, I think now, just to support those people, because it is all about helping. And I'm a big one for things happen for a reason, and karma, and you know, that you will give and you will receive works. So, you know, so yeah, I love networking. It's second nature to me. So yeah, and I wouldn't have done that without Brock. So there you go.
Well, I thank you for putting it that way, Warren. But I'll tell you, Warren, what he does every single time, and I know a lot of us do this, but it just shows exactly what the networking, how it goes into your everything that you do. Warren will come off every call, and if I try to get a hold of him afterwards, wait, no, I'm busy because I saw Sarah, and I know Sarah really needs to talk to Lizzie, and Lizzie really needs to talk to John, and John, he's just constantly connecting those dots, and that's exactly what it's all about. And you know, I encourage all of you, whenever you're on a networking call, listen, as Edward said, put out there, listen, think about who these people can help, because here's part of the whole magic. There's 2 bits of magic I'll give out real quick. One, every single time you send out that connection, so and it doesn't need to be fancy. It could be Sam on here right now, and Sam and I'm looking forward to our one-to-one we're going to have soon. I haven't forgotten. So Sam could hear something on this call that Mike has said, and then all of a sudden Sam goes, "Oh, I really must connect Sarah to Mike." Well, every single time she does that, of course, Sarah or Mary or John or Fred or whoever it is, they're going to remember what kindness she has paid forward to them. And that's just going to deeply get more and more in their brain about that wonderful person that Sam is. And they're going to go out of their way to help Sam even more. Now, another little trick. Now, this one was, I wish I was clever enough to think of this, but I didn't. When we get back to face-to-face, try this. Any of you try it, it's great. So when you have your networking group, and we all have face-to-face networking groups that, you know, we go to quite a lot, and, you know, we know 99.9% of everybody in the room. So what happens when you have a face-to-face networking group? You know everybody in the room pretty much, and guess what? In comes the visitor. And what does everybody do? Because it's human nature. You all want to find out who the new person is, what they do. You know, in the back of your brain, you're thinking, "Ooh, is this going to be somebody that I can work with, or are they going to be able to buy from me?" Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But human nature, you want to meet this new person, right? Try this next time. So when you can get near that, because there's going to be a queue of people to talk to the new person, so don't forget that. But try to navigate to where you approach the new person with someone that you know and know quite well. And here's the trick. So let's say that it was somebody new in the room and Warren was there with me. What I'll do is I'll go up to the new person and say, "Oh, hi, you're so-and-so. Welcome to the group. I'd like to introduce you to Warren. Warren here does," and I'll say A, B, C, and D, and how he's the best person in the world, and how Warren can help you. And if you ever need this, you really need to talk to Warren. And so I'm going to leave you in Warren's good hands. Oh, and what do you do? And of course, the person's going to tell what they do, which is great. And then here's the magic: walk away. Don't say a single thing about yourself. Yes. Because what'll happen is that person will do 2 things. One, they're very, very happy that you've welcomed them. 2, they're very, very happy because they've met somebody great like Warren that's going to help them. You've understood what they do, so you know how to connect them in the future. The third thing is, as soon as you walk away, actually you walk away with a power. The reason I say that is because they're going to think later on, "Well, wait a minute, the one person in the room that didn't try to sell to me or didn't do anything else, I want to know about them." So the reason I say it's the power, because they're going to hunt you down. And then the reason it's the power is because people are, if they've come to find you, their receptor is on. They're listening. They're wanting to know about you. And that's where that brings that power. Like I said, I didn't make it up. It's not, I can't take that brainchild, but it does work. So next time you're in a face-to-face room, you know, try that out. Right. I've saved the best. I won't say the best. I've saved one of the best till last. John Atheridge, I'm going to pick on you. I think you've been networking a little over a week now, is it, sir? Something like that. So tell a little bit about what networking networking may have done for you both locally and without a doubt globally.
Thanks, Brock, and nice to see everybody on the call. I stumbled into networking 31 years ago. And when I say stumbled, I mean before mobile phones, before the internet, when we had a global, a strike with all the pilots in Australia. Every commercial pilot went on strike. And so I was running a car rental business at the time, servicing the inbound tourism market. So most of those tourists came in via a plane. So all of a sudden I was stuck with a whole lot of cars that I couldn't rent. And I'm going to do a little session on that for the show. So we got together with 50 business owners that I knew well, that we already knew each other from normal stuff before the internet, and formed a community that networked with one another, did business with one another before we looked outside the group in order to survive. It wasn't a matter of choice. It wasn't a matter of, oh, we liked to do this. If we didn't do it, we were all going to die as business people. So that's pretty critical. So that little idea, that little group formed a business that took over my car rental business. 31 years later, the short story is that directly branded through the BBX community and indirectly through the International Reciprocal Trade Association, which I met, which is Network on Pond Network, just in that network alone, there's 480,000 businesses. Now, when it comes to then putting together the Quantum Leap business show, 24 hours non-stop going around the world, and we only started on this idea 4.5 weeks ago, most people said, John, you're crazy. You know, to do a show like this is going to take 3-6 months. And we said, no, let's put us under pressure. Let's use our network. So I reached out to some of the people that I know through that network. People like Brock, people like Alan Peace. If you want to listen to that interview, this guy's written 300 million books. Someone mentioned body language before. He was the guy that wrote Body Language. He wrote, and some of the stories there. I reached out to some other people that I'd done in my network. Kevin Byrne from Checker Trade started Checker Trade from his shed and sold it for £78 million. Now I know Kevin. Where did I meet Kevin? Through the network. I then reached out to other people like Tony Brown. Tony Brown was 12 years with Sir Philip Green, right-hand man in Arcadia, very topical at the moment. He's got his own retail. So Tony was able to deliver a great presentation for the show on all the joys of retailing at the moment. And when I say joys, I obviously mean that in inverted commas. But how did I meet Tony? Through my network. I reached out to people like Andy Lennox, who's started up 20-odd restaurants. You know, and they're struggling like all hell at the moment, as you can imagine. Where did I meet Andy? Through my network. I then got to John Scholl in America. So John is 48 years and 11 months the head of his Quality Service Institute, Quality Institute of America, the leading authority on service, customer service globally. Where did I run into him? Strange about that. It was through my network. And so getting all this content together, people have just shook their heads in disbelief to say, John, how could you do this? You know, am I a magic man? You will see no holes in the palm. I certainly haven't got long hair. So I don't have divine intervention. It's the power of the connections with everybody. How did I put the show together? I reached out to Alex Clapcott. Why? Because he's an expert in running events. You know, I've done all the stuff. You know, I create the idea or whatnot. How do I put it all together? I've got no idea. You need to get experts in to help you with all the other bits. And that's what a network does. A network allows you to focus on what you are expert at, what you are good at, what you like doing. And it allows you to reach out to other parts of your connections globally and gather the expert resources that you're not good at, don't like doing, to put together what is going to be probably one of the foundation stones for the event to come. This will just be the start. This won't be the finish. It won't be a one-off. So there's probably a book running around out there, and I'm looking for the first person to write it, and that's because it used to be the 6 degrees of separation. And I think that's rubbish. That with internet, with social media, with people like Brock, with networking, I think there's going to be a new book called The 6 Degrees of Separation 2.0, and it's 2 degrees or even less perhaps. So there's some thoughts. Thanks, Brock. You're on mute, Brock.
Thank
Nice,
you.
nice little segue into that one. Did you get what did you pick up what we're putting down there?
Definitely. Thank you so much. And in good, I was going to say in good networking fashion, the other thing I think is important every time you go networking is to allow us all to hear from each other. So if we round it up, remember this is being recorded, so let's get your message out there as well. We'll go to Maple Brooks Wills first. Just give us a quick little, minute about yourself, and then Sam, I'll come over to you right after that. So take it away.
Good morning, guys. My name is Christian. I'm from Maplebrook Hills. I'm a video writer. Basically, I'm joined BBX about 6 months ago. And yeah, I'm looking to grow my network, finding more about how to raise my profile, creating online events. I'm massively working. And this is basically the main reason I'm joined to Quantum Leap as well. So yeah, I'm still early stages, so I'm learning and listening. That's what I could do. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much. Have a great Christmas, and let's connect and get a one-to-one in soon, okay?
No problem, sir. Cheers.
No, thank you, sir. I'm so used. I had to say sir to everybody because where I'm from originally, so it's funny when I hear it every now and then. Sam, take it away, please, dear.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here. Testament to Brock, it's the only Zoom network I've done in 2 weeks. So I've actually got up early. The kids are sleeping. First day of the holidays, but I'm here because I think, Brock, what I hear from you is authenticity. And that's really important to me. But what I wanted to say was echoing what Rebecca said, Diana said, Warren said, you use words like generosity, happy, giving. All those words give us well-being. And a great part of networking is feeling better. And that's so important to remember. So we are social beings. We need that for our health and for well-being. So for me, going to networking where there's generosity, happiness, authenticity, supporting each other, it's fabulous for my health. And if it's happening, I'm there. So I'm all about well-being. You can find more about me on LinkedIn. But I very quickly was made redundant after working for about 25 years and kind of became self-employed and a bit lonely. And that's where I found networking. But there is a lot of things I get invited to. I don't always go back. But for me is, hey, how can I support you? So I hear your message, Brock. It's if I can help you and things happen organically and naturally, I'm happy.
Thank you so much, Sam, and looking forward to one-to-one. And you're exactly right. And that's one of the things that we say all the time is that we like to have a lot of fun, but we're very serious about getting networking done. So we're very serious about making those connections. But if we can't have fun and help each other through life, then it's not worth doing. So very, very nice. And thank you. Tom, can I get a quick minute out of you, sir?
You can as soon as I unmute. Morning to everyone. Rebecca suggested that I came to here, and that shows the power of networking as well. I do network. I network a lot. Sometimes it benefits me. Sometimes it benefits others. Hopefully, it benefits us all in the end. Networking, I think, does work. I do think you're right about you have to schedule it. You have to work off it afterwards. And just a very quick bit about what we do. We provide clean air so that when you all get back to meeting again, you will be safe from every infection, every kind of danger that you may face. We've been around for 20 years doing this. Pre and post COVID, everyone wants clean water. Everyone wants clean services. Guess what? Clean air matters. But yeah, networking works, and I'm very keen to provide clean air for all networking events from here on in.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to give it right back to John because we need to wrap it up. People, don't worry about Scott. Scott's part of the team, so Scott does his own magic. So thank you for being here as well. Back over to you. Thank you so much, John. Thank you for everybody that's participated today. You're seeing us from recording and want to get a free pass for your partnerships. They're always available. But also, thank you so much, BBX and John and the team for putting this on today. So over to you, sir, to wind us up.
Thanks, Brock, and I'm sure everybody got some great benefit, not only for the people participating. I thought this was a very great session. It demonstrated networking with someone who was giving a session on networking. So instead of building his own content, you know, he cheated. He just shared the network and the power of how to deliver a presentation without having to do any preparation, because he just hands it over to everybody else. It just fitted hand in glove. So Brock, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show and sharing some of the bits and pieces, and the people out there will get some great value from this. Don't forget, everybody, this is recorded now. You can come back and watch it right up until the 31st of January and come back and connect up. It's been great. So, but in the meantime, Dave, Brock, thanks very much. Cheers.
Keep networking. Keep networking. See you later. Take care, guys.